right now, just talking about hair. Angeline just got a haircut. We're talking about long hair and how it is a lot of work to clean up. And that's what we love to do in here. Fresh Talks Global Vision. It's so much fun getting in and speaking about like real life stuff. That's what we're about. Like when I think of what I trademarked, mindset transformation entertainment, like how can we do that in a way that just you get to explore in this mindset flow and discover something new about you, because we keep having all these wonderful people, speakers, interviews, conversation, whatever you want to call it, in these ways of talking about spirituality, talking about self care, talking about business. But I tell you, it keeps coming back to me and my heart, really feeling that we keep bringing in these people that are love bugs, but they've been in their industry for a while and they know how to speak to what's important to them, how they work with their clients, how they do their talks so that they connect with their audience, connect even with themselves. It's like almost like intuitive speaking, is that you know that you can really see the person you're trying to get to. And that's where we get to have the best conversations. So I welcome you in. And I'm wherever you're coming from, I want to be your host. Make sure you're adding your comments, anything about ideas that you have that maybe you're getting more motivated. I know every time I get in these conversations, I learn so much about myself. I feel like we're in a mastermind. So keep showing up. If you have comments, if you have questions, I'm going to make sure that they get to Angeline Benjamin. And I'm going to introduce Angeline. But for a moment, I just wanted to say, hi, Angeline. How are you doing?
Oh, good. Thank you so much for inviting me in your show. I'm very honored.
I am honored in the way that you have respect and appreciated our show. You right away were like trying to just partner. And I think it's a very sweet. We were talking about the 80-20 rule, and 20% of those people are people that are leaning in. What can I do? How can I serve? And I really love that. So I appreciate your space here today. And so let me give you a proper introduction, Angeline.
Thank you.
Okay, so Angeline Benjamin is an accomplished motivational speaker delivering messages on personal development, confidence building, strategic goal setting, self care, author, and action coach with results. She is also a negotiation and crisis management expert and the GSFE Virtual Thursday Network director. Angeline believes in making a difference in people's lives through mentoring, coaching, motivating, educating others, and equipping them with tools, yes, and knowledge to help themselves. Her works have shown that true humanitarianism lies in fostering self reliance and self care and enabling people to take control of their own lives, make informed decisions, and build a sustainable future. I am all in, Angeline.
Oh,
I
thank
love that introduction, all about the humanitarianism and being connected and building your life in a bigger way.
thank
Can
you.
we talk a little bit about that, because you have a very robust way of explaining really all your talents, and it does it in a way that I really understand. It's very clean and easy. When did you know that you were going to be a motivational speaker? So what did you do before, and what brought you here to have all the gems of all the stuff you talk about?
This is all about having a mentor and a coach. To me, this is not something that I just know it. I learned from so many mentors and so many coaches, even when I was young. And my first coach actually is my parents. And
Yeah.
then as I grew up, I find people that really interested, wanting to help. So I asked them, can you be my friend? At that time, during in the 70s, you asked my friend instead of
Yeah.
coach.
Yeah.
And so I just feel that if you're just learning from so many people that care about you, that have an intentional living, in other words, they have intention, you can learn from them. And that is what my life philosophy is, just you keep learning. I am work in progress. So
I'm already learning a lot of stuff here, Angeline. First off, I love how you're talking about that. You're just always seeking, you know that you know stuff, but you're always still consistently leaning in and getting guidance from others, because I know that we partner together. And when we have coaches, more mentors, guides, they
Mhm.
come in all different packages. I
Yes.
can remember having a single parent mom and knowing that I'm going to be dealing with a tribe of people, that help me along. And
Yes.
so I love what you're saying. I really hear how you've been doing this for a while. You're talking about the 70s and just talking about your parents. So I'm thinking at 4 years old, you already started this. You're like, oh, yeah, I'm going to ask people questions. I'm going to ask them to be my friend. And so you've been doing this from day one.
Right. Mhm. Yeah, like I came to this country from Indonesia, which is the third world country then, and because my parents felt that to avoid discrimination, but also for me to have a better life,
Yeah.
they decided to send me to United States to learn to have a better education. I am forever grateful because without them, I will not be here. That is what my message to everybody. So I'm very, very grateful.
I
And
hear your message. I'm sorry. Keep going if you
yeah,
have some more.
and so because of that, I like to give back, and I felt that I've been blessed with the life I have. I have so many people that wanting to help, wanting to teach me, wanting to learn from me. So to me, that at this time of my life, I tell people that I am enjoying the fruit of my labor. So because of that, in addition to coaching, but I felt that I have to give back more because I've been blessed with the life I have. So that's why I get involved in a nonprofit organization called GSFE, Global Society for Female Entrepreneur. And our objective there, again, to empower, inspire, and educate our members so they can have a fulfilled life being an entrepreneur. So that is why I'm so excited to be part of them, to help them.
I think it takes a while to know about how it feels to give back. And
Yeah.
it sounds like that's some of your, I would think, pretty much an expert at this, because it seems like there's a point where it just kind of threads into what I'd say like your DNA, just part of
Yes.
your because I mean I felt that right away. And the reason why, like, I'll talk about marketing. The reason why it was so easy to market that you were coming here, like being able to share with people that you were coming here, the number one thing that I remember is that we are part of a speaker group, and it's so much fun. Lisa Reed does an incredible job. So I'll make sure I get that link in here too, because she's an incredible woman. And because I believe, we're all here just to help each other in what we're doing. And I remember you saying, here, wait, I want to tell you something, Lisa. I had so and so in my group, and they are just so sweet. And I know that they're good at what they're doing. And you just kept going on about sharing about this person. And the way you did it, I realized you're a very giving back kind of person. I'm like, I need to really get to know this Angeline. This is a love bug that I love being around love bugs.
Oh, thank you.
So, that the group that you run,
Mhm.
when did you, because this is a group that you run to give back to people, can you share more, because you see their eyes, I think it's like about once a month where you're giving back and you're learning. What are you learning about your group when it comes to humanitarianism and fostering self-care? Because we'll go into self-care in just a moment, but what are you learning by just being with these wonderful beings every month?
It makes me more humble that I understand so many different people has so many talents. I could learn so much from them, and even at my age, and so to me, that my mentor says, Robbie Motter, the founder of the GSFE, said, Angie, with the talent you have, don't keep it to yourself, pay forward. And that's what the word I say, pay forward. Because when you pay forward,
Yeah.
it means that you're helping others that been looking for somebody or a gift. They can receive it. And so you don't keep it to yourself. And that's why I learned, don't keep it to yourself, share it.
I've heard people say when you keep it to yourself, it's actually selfish. And you're like, what? Me, I get to be that important that actually I'm selfish if I don't get to share it. But I think it's true because of like when you talk about your beginnings and how you feel like your heart grew. Like, I'm so appreciative.
Mhm.
We need more out there. I call it hashtag speaker locking arms, that when we're out there doing our talk, but I think even going to the grocery store, we don't have to be speakers, but using our vocals and being able to share with people
Mhm.
that it's almost like the latest smile.
Mhm.
Being able to talk and just say hello, but say it in a way that just, it's very, very friendly. And that's what I'm hearing that you're doing, is that you're out there just sharing good word. Hello. And it doesn't feel pushy at all. It feels like you're really giving back, and it's fabulous. It's nice to be in your space.
Yeah, and just to let you know, this
Mm.
is something that I continuously learning from my members, from my friend, from mentors. That's why I encourage people, to connect
Yeah.
and be out there, because you never know what you learn, even though you think, oh, I know this, I know that,
Yeah.
but life is progress. So because of that,
Mm.
you're gonna learn new things, right? And even technology, that I am looking forward to learn new technology.
We talk about technology. We dealt with that, huh? Because we actually have two windows going, and it's all technical.
Yeah.
There is something that you said that I am really honing in on, and it has to do with I can't bring it up, but something in the beginning you were saying, oh, about learning from others,
Mhm.
and I feel like if you are always feeling like you're ever growing,
Mhm.
and when you're with people, it's like hands down just incredible to hear these people, these other people. Like, we know what our talents are. We're creating it, and some of the stuff that we've dealt with and we're stressed about, it's taught us to be more resilient in.
Yeah.
And I find that running a podcast has been an incredible experience, that I thought that it was just all this work. Oh my gosh, is this work to do that? This work to do that? And then I started realizing how much love experience I get to have within, this window that we call, an interview. And it has really given me a transformation in my life and has grown my heart. So I see that you're saying the same. So about fostering this life of having really good self-care, if we can go in there, I feel that sometimes people feel overwhelmed, because I've been in the health industry for like 25 plus years,
Mhm.
and people do get overwhelmed when they think about self-care. Can you give me your definition when you're talking about fostering this resilience and making sure that you're really stepping into your self-care? What does
Yeah.
that mean for you? What do you like to share about that?
Yeah. So self-care, to me, sometimes people can interpret that as, also we call it self-love, is another way to say self-care. But self-care, basically, in the after I did research and also learning it, it's basically maintaining a healthy relationship with yourself. And you need to take care your physical, mental, and emotion. And then another one, engage in activities that promote well-being and reduce stress.
Yeah.
And the next one, to me, that it's so important, is practicing your priority. Because if we don't have priority, then we become overwhelmed, because we don't know where we're going, because there is no priority. When you have a priority, this. But then if you don't have priority, just I don't know where I'm going.
And that's so
Be
scary,
overwhelmed.
huh, Angeline, to feel that feeling. So that
Yeah.
I can see spot on that helps your mental A game.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. And and I'm just being very open to you, that learning the self-care, like to take care of myself, I learned this even as I get older. It's not something that I know on my own. I learn from somebody else, and I am not embarrassed to say I am 73 years old, and
Woohoo!
I am still learning to take care of myself. But to me, I put the self-care is a priority in my life. And because of that, at this age, of course, it's a work in progress, like what you eat and activities and exercise, moving, keep moving. And I am so blessed and I am very grateful that at my age, I don't even take any prescription drugs to keep myself healthy. And to me,
And
that's
can
a
I
lot of
can I
work.
say something here, Angeline? Because I know that you have more to add here, but let's talk about that because if we can go in there just a little bit deeper,
Mhm.
is what I hear is when you're stepping in and practicing, that you are the priority, and then you also are looking outside of you and saying, follow these priorities. Because if you don't have a handle on that, then
Mhm.
that's going to mess up your nervous system. You're going to be deregulated. It's not going to help you move forward in that
Mhm.
stress in itself.
Mhm.
And then also just about learning that self love. Are
Yeah.
there, when you get, I know you're going into more, is there any story around there where you wanted to learn or needed to learn more about prioritizing stuff around you? Did you ever feel like I need to tighten this up a bit because this is really bringing more stress into my life? Any stories around there or things you're hearing from people? And the reason I'm asking this is
Sure.
because I think that's what we struggle with is we have all these balls in the air. So how do we first connect with that? Why is that so important in self-care?
Yeah, it's like, for example, even when I was in college, that you have to prioritize. Like you think, okay, uh, do I want to have this boyfriend, that boyfriend, or oh, I don't want to do that because I'm going to go to medical school. That was my intention before, and I changed that. That's another story, but so, and then another one, somebody would say, well, Angie, aren't you going to have fun? Let's go this. And then I thought, okay, I need to learn to prioritize because if I don't do that, I will not be able to graduate with good grade. And then I
Yeah.
cannot go to medical school. And then I don't have a career that I want. So
Yeah.
all these things that you have planned, it always has to have a requirement that you look, what do I have to do? And I don't consider that as being a sacrifice. I consider that as being something, the plan that you have to do. And I call it labor in my life. And so
Mm.
because of that, you have to do this in order to achieve this one.
And
And
do you
that,
feel, tell me about this, because you really hit on something big here that I like to talk about too, is you're talking about like labor in your life. To me, I'm thinking like a big heart, like if we say that we do these things, we can really see where we're going. And if you have a handle on that,
Mhm,
boy, you can have anything you want in this life when you really get grounded and you
mhm,
look at that. And is there something about that with like if the more you get connected with what you really want and
mhm.
the labor in your life, that it seems to go more smooth than feeling like it's a to-do list or a have to?
Yes, because it's something that what you want. It's not what other people think is good for you. It's a lot of time
Ah,
we think that what we want, let's say, especially a business. Okay. Sometimes people will tell you, okay, you should be in this business because it's going to be growing well and you're going to make a lot of money. And some people said that because it's an in right now, is in about that one, so, and that's a lot of so many, all these positive they tell you, but then deep down inside you don't have this passion for it.
yeah.
That's another one that I think we need to understand and be honest to ourselves is our value, what
Mm,
we value the most, and that will really commensurate with what your business and what your passion. Because if you don't have a value, let's say I don't have a value of um, paying attention to numbers, okay,
yeah.
numbers, or I don't value of being with my patient, taking care of patient. okay, or being a therapist, then why would you want to become a therapist?
Yeah.
Okay. And so that's why I changed my school from going into medical school after I talked to my advisor, because
Yeah.
he asked me, why do you want to become a doctor? And I said, well, I want to make good money so I can take care of my parents, because, then I want to give back. And then plus I can take care of my parents being a doctor, so my parents don't have to spend a lot of money.
Yeah.
And then my advisor said, okay, really, why do you want to become a
I
doctor?
love this question.
And I don't have the answer, because then I went to graduate school and in the medical microbiology, and I actually learn, enroll in volunteer being in the hospital, and I did not enjoy that at all. And I said to myself, why would I want to become a doctor? And so finally, I realized that I want to become a food scientist, because I like to solve the problems about microbiology, and because they are a very unique organism. And
Yeah.
so, problem solver. That's what I like, the problem solver in the academic, area,
Yeah.
instead of being a doctor or a nurse. And to me, there's nothing wrong with that. And I used to feel guilty about it, because I
Mm.
thought my parents, sacrifice send me to this school. So
Yeah.
being a doctor is an honorable profession, right?
Right.
And why do I don't want that.
Yeah.
And so thank goodness to my professor and my advisor, dig deep and ask me, why do I want to do this? And when you don't have this passion, when you don't have the value, when
Yeah.
you don't really get excited about it, that's not something that you should do.
I'm learning so much from you. You're doing some great information here for Fresh Talks Global Vision. I'm really appreciating you being here. The one thing that I am really hearing, well, first off, which I think a lot of us deal with,
Mhm,
is that you were saying to be able to understand what you want
mhm,
and the shame that you felt of
mhm,
like, well, if I don't go and do this, which was being a doctor, that is what so and so, your parents, but so and so said this is the right route. But
mhm,
when you connect it with food science and starting to learn about how you could actually make fabulous money, and now you're coaching and you're helping others learn more about their self-resilience, that when you're doing what you love doing, but you also have the practice of priority, knowing that you really want to turn the camera on yourself for self care, all
mhm.
that energy, because I love talking about energy. I'm a vitality coach. I think when we touch something, if it has energy, that's like, oh, yes, when
Yes.
we're grounded, we're
Mhm,
listening.
mhm.
And you have a special talent, and
Oh,
we all have it within us, but we don't always use it.
yes.
It's the
Mhm, yes.
listening. Like you're listening to your advisor, even though it's like excruciating to think, here, wait, I may not do what my parents want me to do. And your advisor felt safe, kept questioning you. Instead of you getting really upset and not listening, which I used to do. That's like I'm making such a big
Yes.
emphasis
We
of this.
did too.
And
Yeah.
I've been around a lot of people like this because that's how I used to be. And sometimes can show up that way when I'm off for the day, but you are leaning in and listening. We need more people out there like that. I'm learning to do that. Is this a special skill that you've always had, or is this something that you learned along the way? Because that's a superpower that's going to create more income, more health and wellness, more flow of friends. I mean,
Mhm.
it brings everything, abundance together. Is this a skill that you had to learn about
Um,
listening?
yes, there is a basic personality. My parents noticed that, and some of people that even my mentor told me, I do have with my personality, and I actually took the assessment. It's called Strength Finder. I don't know if you heard that, and I took that twice just to make sure that I am, I just me, and the result is the same. Okay. And so what it is that my number one talent is that I always want to make sure that I accomplish something. And
Oh,
that is the strength that I have. And because of that, I do have the discipline. I can focus. That's another thing. I can focus. And another one that in the strength finder they call it learner. So in other words, I love to learn something not because I want to be the best, but I want to learn and expand my horizon. So then I will become more open-minded about learning something. And
Angeline,
another
you're
one is
talking in a
responsibility.
new way, and I'm talking over you. But I want to stop you there because you have so much good information. So I don't mean to talk over you, but you're saying all this good stuff. The the thing about when I started business 15 years ago, I it was very masculine.
Mm-hmm.
I I want to speak because I just want to show people I'm an expert and I need to keep proving that. And if I don't prove that, then that means I'm not going to be able to grow my business and like this thing. And so what you just brought up is very powerful because I feel like that's the new way. It's like a trend, but a new way of thinking is that if you keep learning, it's not a brain ego thing of like, well, I know more than you, so I'm going to debate with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
You want to learn more so that you can listen, you can receive, you
Mm-hmm.
can understand how to be able to serve a group you're in front of, or like what you're doing right now, a talk.
Mm-hmm.
That is another superpower. Can we go into that area more about self-care, about really learning to any area you want to go into about how that comes out and how you do some work around that, or give me
Sure.
some
Yeah.
more insight on
Yeah.
this.
So to me, like some you heard about this, I think, especially in United States, living in here, that sometimes people will say, well, I don't need much sleep, right? But
We
you
hear that
know,
often.
the number one important I learned, and so many different people, having a good night's sleep is so critical for your health, for your self-care. But yet, sometimes you hear people, successful people or whatever, they will say, I don't need much sleep. I can function with 4 hours sleep, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And to me, yeah, maybe now, but then would this last? Like after a while, your health will start, uh, like, in other words, going down because it's something else happened. And I have to give you this. Maybe it's a little bit scientific, but think about it. When you sleep, it means your brain is taking care what we call it an automatic function in our body that we don't have to like clean up our system. Because
Yeah.
when we like talking like this, when we're not sleeping, we're using everything in our body, right? Voice and stuff. But then when you sleep, your brain says, okay, I have to clean up your body, I have to clean up your system, so then you can regenerate. So but if you don't have enough sleep, your brain don't get a chance to clean it up. And I like to give an example for a restaurant, being in the food business, like restaurant that open 24 hours.
Yeah.
Okay. Even though they open 24 hours, they have the downtime to clean up. They have to clean up their restaurant. They have to clean up the floor. They have to clean up the oven, the stove, and everything. Because if you don't, guess what happened? Eventually, your equipment will be broken, right?
Yeah.
And because you do have to clean, even though you open 24 hours or 24/7. So the
Mm-hmm.
same thing, if we don't have a good night's sleep, our mind, our body will not be taken care of
All right.
because we'll just keep going and going and going. And
Angeline, I feel like it's easy to get scared.
yes,
You know, when your body's off balance,
yes,
and you're talking about so many things here, but I do know that in our family, it's just a thing like to fall on when I don't want to sleep.
mhm,
Is like, oh yeah, in our family, we have a hard time sleeping. And like, okay, so that makes it okay, you know?
yeah,
Or but I can remember when I'd be dealing with things and I wouldn't sleep all night because not because I didn't want to, but my nervous system, it just would not, it was
yeah,
trying to reset itself because of some stress I was dealing with. And so I
mhm,
got used to not sleeping. then I got in the ego of, oh, my body can handle this. And I would notice I'd get like really depressed for long periods of time. That had no reason mentally why I was depressed. I just knew
Yes,
I
yes.
woke up depressed. I went to bed at 4 a.m. depressed, class at 8. And I would do these things when I was younger.
Mhm.
And I just didn't get it until I started actually not blaming my family for not getting this sleep. So you're getting really insightful information for leaders out there and for everybody about that. What's some more things you want to speak about? We have a couple more, like about 5 more minutes together. I'd love to hear more
Okay,
about your
sure.
list there and your
Yeah,
self-care.
and I would love
And
to give.
Valerie, and thank you,
Yeah,
Verlaine, thank you for being here. If you have any questions, you can type it in the chat box and I'll make sure I host you, my friend.
yeah. Another example that I would love to share with everybody about the self-care is physical exercise. Okay, it doesn't matter what. Everybody, can choose many different things. Talk to a friend, you know, go for a walk. This is something to me is simple. And mindfulness exercise. Practice deep breathing. And I learned that when I do Pilates. Be deep breathing. Breathe and learn and explore. So all these things is what we call it a practice self-care.
Yeah.
And so if we do that, we become less stressed, and then that will become then in turn that we become a healthier individual.
I think emotionally too. I
Yeah,
think it's hard.
exactly.
And if we're just talking about in this industry right now, you are a speaker, we're in that space right now, and you've had a big, robust background, which is so wonderful to learn about your science background too. But there's something about how much energy you really need to step into that next role and be able to be there present. And it's easy to get scared because a lot of it is spending time on nurturing yourself. And we come back into that
Mhm,
love space.
mhm.
And I know that to me, it sounds like you follow rules. Like, like, okay, so I need to do this. So I'm going to do this. What are some times when you really had to learn your lessons from what you're speaking about right now, where you were struggling and saying, I need to add this into my list of self care?
Mhm.
What's some of the things that you've had to learn on your own
I have to learn on my own. Yeah, it's
for self
something.
care?
Yes, a self-care. Okay, like like everybody else, like I had in fact just happened this year that I had a flu, and I said, oh, I had a flu shot, no problem, So I still work on my computer instead of just resting because I said, no, I didn't talk to people. I can check my messages. Well, guess what? it, I didn't recover as fast. Even
Yeah,
though I thought, well, I didn't work. I just look at my computer, but your mind is working, So when you mean rest is rest. So I did not recover as fast. And then I have the cough, and then I did not
oh,
have enough sleep, and
mm,
I actually got pneumonia because I was not able to sleep for 4 days because I was coughing so much. And so to me, I said, oh, yeah, I'm a healthy person. So I don't need sleep that much. When I'm talking about sleep, it's like, okay, 8 hours is enough. But when you're in that stage,
yeah,
sometimes you have to sleep longer because your body needs to rest, you know, and
yeah,
and looking at the computer, you may not think it's working, but
yeah,
yes, your mind is working. Checking
yeah.
on your cell phone for text messages, that
Yes.
your mind is working, so you're not resting.
Yeah, Angeline, I think about this. First, I want to say, Verlaine, thank you for being here. She was talking about spending time in nature and even gardening in
Yeah.
pots on your patio. Um, Helame is saying, I don't know if you were, oh, she said, Angeline, I don't know if you remember me, but I was a teacher at Marywood. I
Oh,
remember
wow.
you as being rather quiet. I'm so proud of what you have become. Also, I believe in having enough sleep. Do you
Wow.
remember Angeline? Do you remember Helen May Elmas?
Oh
She was
gosh,
on YouTube.
I'm embarrassed to say I don't remember, maybe because your last name, but thank you so much. Yes,
Wow.
because when I was in Marywood, I was learning English, and so I'm just more into the learning process, quiet. And this is what my father told me: if you want to learn something, sometimes you have to be quiet, shut your mouth. My parents said, listening more, listening more,
Yeah.
because you be surprised what you learn more if you do not talk too much. And so I learned to observe in when I was there, because there's just so much a student there that I can learn. But one thing, since thank you, Helen May, that one thing I can tell you, at Marywood High School, so many of those students and so many of the students that I was able to connect with, they're so open, wanting to help me. So my sister and I felt, my gosh, I felt so welcome. They didn't judge me. They just said, if I ask something for help, they help me. So to
Yeah.
me, I felt so welcome with that type of environment, when they are so good in wanting to help and be friend, and whatever that I want to learn, they're willing to help me. So that
So
was very, very good.
Angeline, I know that Helen May is following the conversation here, but can I just say one
Oh,
thing before that? Because
oh,
I see you, Helen May, and Helen May, so I want to bring that up, that she was actually a teacher and not a
oh,
student.
teacher,
So
yes.
wonder, okay. So
Oh,
what I wanted to talk about, and Helen May, if you want to add any more, please do. And Verlaine and anybody else that's watching there out there is, you know, we all have experiences based on how we're utilizing our energy when we're, in a place. And I bet at that school, some people probably had different experiences than what you had. So what I'm seeing, and just reflection of you, is your self-love and learning and understanding that
mhm.
you exude it out when you have self-love, because you know how to love on people more. Even if you're not speaking a lot, it's more of, of the energy that you're sharing with people. And she says, is your sister Angela? Oh my gosh, she's really catching here. And then I want to say something, because Jennifer added something too. This was wonderful. Thank you for sharing everything, Angeline. Yes to self-care. Yes, yes. We have some great stuff here. But you see that experience is like, I just want to explicitly say that, is when you really believe the stuff that we've been talking about, you have your list, the things that you call self-care to be able to foster resilience.
Mhm.
You've been able to walk this life in a way that not everybody gets to. But with all these tips, it helps somebody understand that people will be around you to help you when you keep yourself open, and
Yeah,
you're creating and you're keeping yourself organized, so that you're not stuck in your chaos, that you can really be present from where you are.
yeah,
Thank you, my friend Angeline, for being here
yeah.
for
And
so much.
Helen May, just to let you know, my sister is Agnes, and her name was Agnes then at the Marywood. So I don't know if you remember, but one thing I just want to say really quick about in Marywood too. To me, that is a great school. I mean, they have so many good teachers there, and that's where I am now, because I was able to get a scholarship going to college. Now, if I didn't have the help from the teachers, especially coming to uh, United States, not able to speak English, and I have to do the speed English lesson, every day I have to do something that I will not be here, because of that. So I want to thank you for all the teachers at Marywood High School, and Helen May. Thank you so much
Oh,
for
I,
your dedication.
is there somewhere that you would want people to connect with you? I am just
Sure.
loving on.
Yes. Yeah, I would love to. And I don't know if you want me to type my email or
Oh yeah. Will
okay.
you type that in? I'm going to conclude this.
Okay.
Verlaine, if you want anything else to add, or Jennifer or Helen May or anybody else out there, I want to tell you I appreciate you so much.
Okay.
This whole, like, we've been here longer. It's almost like 40 minutes. I said, Angeline, it's going to be about 30 minutes. But
Oh,
what's happened is that we get to really enjoy the experience
I'm
together.
not able to type this because
Oh, you aren't?
listen, it keeps speeding up. So,
Oh, I don't know. I'll type it. What's
oh
your
yeah, I don't know why.
I'll make sure that
Yeah,
I
you
get
have
that.
my email address, right?
Yeah, I do. I'll
Yeah.
make sure I get
Thank
that
you
in
so
for
much.
everybody. Angeline is also so marvelously organized. That is an important part of self-care. I
Yeah.
know, Verlaine. Yeah, earlier we were talking about that, and at first it's kind of interesting, isn't it, Verlaine, to speak about self-care being part of that, but that's part of being able to relax your body and feel confident too, because then you get to be quiet and you get to just feel the vibe of what's happening here and now, instead of your brain trying to be split off in different areas, trying to keep everything organized. There's
Mhm.
so many angles with that. I
Uh-huh.
appreciate everybody for being here today. And if you want to connected with Angeline, I'll make sure I get that information. We'll get it in YouTube. We'll get it out there when we're doing our post, information about what we talked about. The
Right.
more that we get into these group conversations, the more that we discover that we're all dealing with specific things that we know about ourselves, but we keep learning from each other, and that we all have stuff that we struggle with. Let's see, it says, you have developed into quite a person. I remember it was Agnes. Oh my gosh, we're having like a homecoming here. This is wonderful.
My sister
So,
Agnes.
so everybody keep looking forward and being able to stay present. The past is the past. Keep
Yeah.
remembering, if you keep your open vocals going, your voice, this is the way to share with people. Not that you have to talk all the time, because Angeline really brought that up, but it's about when you speak that you really hear the words you want to share, because you know that there's something you really truly want to say. And the first thing is about self-care and building in your resilience. So I
Yeah.
appreciate your expertise here, Angeline Benjamin.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes, everybody, I love you and so
Thank you.
appreciative that
Thank
you're
you for
here.
inviting me here, Rhonda.
You're
I
welcome.
really enjoyed this time, and thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. Everybody, this is Fresh Talks Global Vision. We've been doing this at least once a week, sometimes every day, depending on how many people we get to hear about the Your Humanity Project. We believe at Fresh Talks Global Vision that with us locking arms, we call it hashtag speaker locking arms, that we truly get to hold the space to make change and transformation, of no more blaming, no more shaming out there. And we see throughout this world, there's just so many things going on. And I know that we can't stop at 100%, but you think about it,
Right.
the
Mhm.
more people that are on this ride, how much safer we're going to feel and more in control of the atmosphere we're in. And the example I want to bring up is that the experience that Angeline had while she was in school and everybody was there to help her and experience, you'll keep bringing people like that around you as you get into fostering your self-care, with building resilience in your body and knowing that you got this. I love you so
Thank,
much.
thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome. Appreciate you. Namaste. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
And we'll be talking to you soon.